Fixer up listings. I feel like when it comes to objections or trying to submit some sort of a winning offer, sometimes the renovation loan can be a game changer because maybe the property is a little rough and you're getting lowball offers because everybody knows it's not going to pass a government appraisal and there's repairs needed. So they're trying to come in low. If you know to go in there with a renovation loan option, then lots of times that's going to make your offer stronger because you're prepared to deal with those property needs, whether that's taking it above and beyond, or it's just to get it to pass a traditional appraisal. So this little picture is not an unrealistic example of what you can do with a renovation loan. So in short, there's three kinds that we work with most often. You've got the 203K, which has been around probably the longest. And that's what most people are familiar with. It's an FHA loan, 3.5% down, and then you can finance in the repairs. The 3.5% down is based on the purchase price and the renovation bids put together. So total project is what the down payment is based off of. And then you've got your Fannie Mae home style. This one's a little more flexible with what you can do. FHA does not like luxury items like pools, spas, detached facilities. They don't like that. Home style is okay with it. They'll let you do this on a second home, an investment property. You can do pools, you can do detached garages, some of those things, multifamily units, townhomes, REO properties. If you've got foreclosures and they can't turn the power on, these are a great way to get around those challenges. They're a really great option when you have a tough listing or a tough buyer. At homestore.com, I don't know if anybody references that a whole lot, but when you're looking at foreclosed properties on homestore.com, it will tell you if that address is eligible for a $100 down payment option. And if it is, that works with the renovation loan. So it's good for picky borrowers too. I love it for people that are like, oh, well, the house is great, but the kitchen or the bathroom's horrible, whatever the objection might be. This is a great way to squash that and say, well, then let's look at a renovation loan. It might only increase your payment by $100 a month to get that brand new kitchen. And then you get it at the time of close. I've done them on houses that had been torn apart and then they lost motivation or the contractor took off with their money and they couldn't complete the renovations. So it's a good way to go in and finish something that is in disarray. Unfinished basements, it's a good way to get money to do that. So the very first one of these I ever did was years ago, and it was because of a sewer line. And everything was clicking along just fine. And the home inspector found that the sewer line was collapsing between the house and the road. And the city said, not our problem. And it was kids were selling the house for, I think, a mom that had passed away or gone to a nursing home. The buyer didn't have the money, but they were like, okay, we get it. These things happen. We're not going to pull the plug, but we don't have any money for it. So we changed gears and rerouted and went with a renovation loan. They borrowed an extra $10,000. And we closed. So the great thing about it as a realtor is that loan still closed at a normal pace and the realtors got paid and everybody went their own way. And those repairs happen after closing. You have to have contractor bids. So whatever the work is that needs done, you need your roofer to give you an estimate and you got to get them entered in the system as the contractor in charge, because what they're going to do is when the loan closes, they're going to give that contractor a portion of the money at close to start doing work. And then when he's done, he can submit that he's done, or depending on the size of the project, he can submit for bid draws and collect up to 5 draws throughout the project if needed. So you do contractor involved.
Is there a miscellaneous side to that in case things in case something else is found during the process?
Yeah, so it's usually 10%. Sometimes they'll take 15% depending on the scope of the project. But they're going to add that to the loan amount. So if you're buying a $100,000 house and you're putting 100 into it, they're going to probably take $10,000 to $15,000 and your loan's going to be for 210 or 215. And then there's a cushion in there. So we've worked that a couple ways too. So the cushion is there for a surprise. The contractor can make his draw on it and just let them know what happened and pull out to deal with it. And so the farmhouse, the $100 down one, they got to the end and she says, oh my gosh, I totally should have put carpet in this thing and I didn't. We're almost done. We haven't used the extra money. Is there any way to touch it? And so the contractor can do a change order request. If he is far enough along in the project and signs off and says, we're past the phase of any surprises we anticipate, he can tap into that reserve account for change orders and go ahead and use it for something of choice.
this renovation loan, is that the name that every lender goes by, or is it a different
Yes.
name?
Every lender is going to go by a 203K limited. Then you're going to go into an FHA 203K standard, Fannie Mae's version, and it's called a home style. Another great thing about it too is you can finance in up to 6 months worth of house payments into the loan. And the theory is if you're still renting and you don't want to live in the house that's a construction zone, then you don't have to be making 2 payments at one time. So it's really user friendly for that piece of it too. So benefits to the realtor is it does help those tough listings hopefully move. Picky buyer, it helps overcome those objections about bathrooms and kitchens and floorings, things like that. It's nice because the loan closes before work begins. So, these do take longer, and largely it's because of the contractor getting all their details that we need. So if that's not done prior to contract, which is ideal, I always tell everybody give us at least 45 days. The other reason is appraisers. Not everybody does these appraisals. So it's pretty typical that it takes a little longer to get that appraisal report back. So at least 45 days on a contract is almost necessary for these. If you do have a builder that you work with a lot or you're affiliated with, it's really nice to be able to have that little bit of reciprocity on sending them some business as well to become a referral source for them. And this is kind of what we talked about a minute ago. Basically, you've got your one-time close. It creates equity. And as a buyer, you just get it all done. You don't have to wait years to do it a piece at a time.